IT Nation Connect 2025. Magic here. I'm here with Aaron, a good friend of mine back from the old days, and somebody who has been sharing with me over the last 2-3 years about his journey from a reseller to MSP. First, Aaron, introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Aaron. I've been attending IT Nation Connect for probably 10 years or so. I met Magic 3 years ago at two conferences in Orlando. The second one was IT Nation, and I was at the time shocked that he was here. And it's glad to see him again. And we really just kept in touch, over the past 3 years on our journey together.
You've seen my face. You were shocked. I was shocked as well because I did not understand much about the MSP business back then. And when I saw you and I knew that you are coming from this reseller world, I immediately reached out to get some advice and to learn about your journey. It's been a long journey.
Long journey, yeah. We started out, 15 years ago or so. And started out because we loved HPE's product. We loved VMware, and at the time, people were trying to figure out how to go from 100 physical servers down to 10 servers. And VMware and HPE, in my mind, revolutionized and made that. And we built a really good business around that model. And we thought, okay, this is a great business to have. But then what I realized is, you got to go build a sales team to go sell it, and then you got to do and realizing then building out a platform and then charging for a project, charging for the hardware, and then walking away. It scared me because I was like, well, now they don't need us anymore, right? We've done it, we built it. Now they don't.
Your value was limited.
It was eroding. Because now their own team could take care of it, and they didn't need us. They needed us to do the project, and there's lots of new things at the time, like centralized storage was a new thing, right? Like people didn't know what that was, but now as we educated the community, now they understood what that was and they understood how to manage it, and it scared me because I was like, well, why don't you need me anymore? Why don't you need us? And then at that time I go, we need to create something that has reoccurring revenue where we can offer a package that will maintain, update, keep it healthy, keep it secure, keep it backed up.
You call it recurring revenue now, but did you know it's called recurring revenue? Did you understand the concept? Was it like, how did you even come up with the idea that you want to offer something that is not a one-time exercise?
That's a good question. What we really understood then is we understood how to scope a project, charge a fee for it, do it, get a 5-star review, and walk away, right? And then, a lot of customers we kept, and when they refreshed every 3 to 5 years, we were usually on board with that project. But then it was like, okay, how do you care for a server? How do you care for a switch? How do you care for backing up, your virtual machines or your workloads, or, how do you keep the thing running? Number one, how do you monitor it, right? And at the time when I remember doing once we made the decision to go reoccurring revenue, had no idea how to price anything. At the time, no one you didn't know whether you wanted to charge $200 to manage a server, $500 to manage a server.
A month? You mean a monthly fee?
Monthly fee, or $99, right? And it was really around scope and what you were going to include, which depended on your tool set, which at the time we didn't have. I mean, when we were running just a straight VAR, I needed a quoting tool, and then I needed QuickBooks, right? That's it. I needed those two. I didn't even really need a CRM because, the quoting tool kind of handled that. But I just needed two tools. And now, if I look at our tool set, we probably got 20 tools, and what was very challenging was moving each part of the process through the system when it went from sales to service.
What was the most difficult?
Promising a customer something that we did on the sales side, and having it go over to the service team to make sure that we did what we said we were going to do on the sales side to the service team. That was very challenging.
But which process was the most difficult for you to shift over from the kind of a one-time project or once every 3 years project to a monthly approach?
Well, that's a good question. It's a totally different business model. So, like in the VAR world, we would resell product, and then we'd have project engineers, and typically those project engineers are senior engineering talent, right? They're not help desk, right? So it was a whole new different set of people, because we decided, okay, if we're gonna really be a managed IT service provider, we had to have three things. We had to have a help desk, we had to have a NOC operation to monitor your stuff 24/7, and we had to have that high level project team. So we had to have all three of those, and they're very different skill sets, very different personalities, very different. It was just completely different. So that when we wanted to be able to tell the customer, hey, if you need a request or something's wrong and our monitoring doesn't catch it, submit a ticket into the help desk, and they're trained to see what the ticket is, and they're trained to escalate it to that level 4, level 5 project engineer if needed.
So you had to first of all modify your offering, then modify your organization, like retrain people. That's what I'm hearing. Add some additional systems. Okay. What about financial strength? Was it smooth and easy?
No, not at all. That's where I really had to work on my. I really felt very financially illiterate then when it came to running the business, because sometimes in the VAR world, margins can save you from mistakes, right? Like if there's enough margin in a big VAR deal, that can really kind of cover up some of your mistakes that you made on the managed service side. Managed services is not high margin in some areas, and you really have to have your process dialed, right? I mean, in the VAR world, I don't know that anybody focuses on EBITDA, and EBITDA was a new word for me when I did the conversion, and because everybody in the managed services space is focused on your EBITDA value that generates the value to your organization. And I think when I looked at that, most VARs have one or two good salespeople that make up the value of the company, right? And I think you got to say to yourself, what happens if those two salespeople leave, right? What does the revenue stay with me because I'm the owner, or does it flow with the salesperson? And I would say in a VAR space, the customer is highly tied to the salesperson. Like they own the relationship. And if they own the relationship and they decide to move their cart somewhere else, that revenue is going to go with them. So it diminishes the value of my VAR business. When we built the MSP platform, we learned that the customer, while they have a relationship with their account manager, the value that Helixstorm provides as a company now shifted. So the customer understood the value of what Helixstorm provided or provides. And so as salespeople come and go, the customer stays, right? The customer stays because they trust the process, they understand the value, and they understand the journey that they are on. And we act as a guide and a path. They're the hero, but we act as the guide and we have the map to get them to where they want to go.
So what do you sell, Aaron, nowadays? What is your what is your offer for the customer?
We are a security first MSP. So what that means is like we don't think security should be an upsell. Security should just be included. I mean, you see it. Like, look at the landscape. I mean, like, now people that don't have any technical ability whatsoever are creating, malware with AI, and they're targeting companies that they don't even write any code. I just read an article the other day. They created malware and they encrypted 17 companies and held them for ransom for anywhere between $75,000 and $500,000 using AI. I mean, we have to protect against that.
So you sell them protection, peace of mind?
We sell peace of mind. We really sell not only the peace of mind, but like how do I use AI in my business? How do I use data security? How do I give access to my team, because a lot of us are remote now, and keep it secure? Very different.
It's amazing that you say you didn't say that you are selling like a EDR or antivirus or VPN. You're selling the cybersecurity, the peace of mind.
Right, and the components that you just mentioned are included. And like, we have to use tools, right? We have to use tools, but we're not selling, SentinelOne versus CrowdStrike or whatever. We're not competing there. What we're saying is, hey, we have a whole tool set that we can roll out, and this is the experience that you're going to have. I mean, being an MSP and being a service provider, you're not selling widgets. You're selling an experience. Right.
It's amazing, because that's what I keep on hearing from, well, in the past, when I remember starting my business in the compact days and HP days, every reseller was HP reseller or compact reseller or HPE reseller, but you are not presenting yourself as the CrowdStrike reseller or Sentinel-One reseller. You are actually trying to sell your own value.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the important part is when you are talking to a prospect, they have to they sometimes don't even understand what they need. And I think it's important for you, for us, to be the guide with a plan that and clearly demonstrate how we can get you to where you want to be. That's what it is. And then, a lot of customers we've had now for 10 plus years, because we continue to evolve. I mean, when we started 10 years ago, it was, hey, keep the servers online, right, and back it up so in case somebody makes a mistake, we can restore it, right? Now it's like, it's so much more than just trying to keep your servers online. It's, how do you protect me from a ransom attack with a malware package that no one has created yet, and you're expected to stay in front of it. Like, we all talk about there's patient zero, right? There's somebody out there, and we all use all the technologies, whether it's Palo Alto or Fortinet or HPE or Dell or whatever. There's some vulnerability out there that exists that the manufacturer doesn't know about, right? That someone's going to figure out. It's going to be an exploit. They're going to be all over the news, and all they want to do is like, okay, now that you saw the exploit, how do I fix it? And we're dependent on manufacturers to help us come up with the exploit. We can install it, and we can protect you from it once it's known, but it's got to be known.
You mentioned artificial intelligence, and I know that you are starting to invest in your company in better understanding, what artificial intelligence is going to enable you to do for the customers.
Yes, one area that we have been seeing some level of success, and we're not experts at all in this space, but it's helping companies buy back their time using some AI agents. And I think we looked at one of those 2 weeks ago together.
You did show me one of the agents that you created internally for your company.
Right. Yes. And that was an HR HR agent. Our HR person her name's Erin, and so we called it Erin from HR, right? What we did was we fed it our employee handbook, our benefits, our expense policy, our whatever remote work policy. We fed this thing all of our policies that we have around HR, and it was probably, I don't know, anywhere from 250 to 300 pages. And then we gave it very specific guardrails around it. Like if you asked it, hey, how do I make a margarita? It responded very politically correct and said, I'm only here to answer HR questions. I can't.
That's not an HR question.
It might be now. So we gave it very specific how to behave. We gave it feeling. We said, hey, this is how we want you to respond. We want you to respond with warmth and caring, and it was amazing to me that like you could train it to do this kind of behavior. But what it did was it enabled a 24/7 agent that could answer what we're finding now, and this thing's only been running for 2 weeks. It's answering about 85% of the most common asked HR questions. So, now that's Erin can buy her time back and focus on more important, HR related activities versus answering in an email, what holidays do I have off this year? Which, at the end of 2025, you probably should have it on your calendar already. But, those are the most common questions are, when am I eligible for medical benefits? And it draws it out.
Is this something that you would be planning to sell to your customers in the future?
Absolutely. I think there's a huge, everybody's talking about AI, right? And Magic, I don't know if you know this, but AI is here to stay. It was kind of like big data, Now it's AI. But I think like all the managed service providers that we're talking about, like how do you monetize and manage or create an AI offering and continue to add value to it? And what we're finding is an AI agent, when you build it bot, it's not set it and forget it. You continuously have to give it knowledge. Knowledge is a big component of it. But then you build other agents that can work with other agents. So like you might build a sales agent, you might build an operations agent, and might be a certain point where that sales agent has to go talk to the operations agent
or HR,
right? And you have a whole ecosystem of tools that are like, and you can speak to it as if I'm talking to you. I ask you a question, you may or may not know the answer to it, but the response time is fast. It's not like I'm going to send you an email and wait, right, for you to respond because maybe you're doing a podcast, right? So you get like within 15 seconds, you get the answer, and like we're all just scratching the surface with AI. And again, I'm no AI expert, but I really do feel that at some point in time, and a lot of them now have you can talk to the agent like I'm talking to you.
I think it's fantastic and I find it fascinating that you are training this new concept internally on your own processes.
Well, yeah, I think if we can't make it valuable for us, it makes it difficult to make it valuable for our customers and future customers. I think we try to do like what's the whole old saying, eat our own dog food, right? But a lot of the AI stuff, we really want to know it. Frankly, it's a whole different set of people that are being able to write these AI bots too.
What's the difference?
It's when we created this HR agent, there was no technical component that you needed to know. Like there was no code, right? It was way more like these agents need to be created by the business people because these are all like business related things, right? Like I saw one agent the other day that was focused around product satisfaction, right? So And the example was, hey, I just bought an air fryer from you, right? And I love it, but the thing keeps overheating, right? So they send an email to the customer service, shared mailbox, right? Hey, I bought this air fryer from you. Da 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 da. It's overheating. Well, this thing can go now. Like it gets its knowledge from like what are the troubleshooting, steps, right? And so you built all these. You probably know why it's overheating, right? And it goes through this knowledge, and then it automatically responds to the person sending the email as if a human is responding with, hey, here's some troubleshooting tips that you might try, and then it records that information into its database of this user was having reported this problem, and now the product team can go through, okay, we're seeing, we got 150 submissions that this thing's overheating. Maybe we need to look at re-engineering this.
So yes, data is going to be super important in this new era. I'm fascinated that you are testing it already internally, that you are building something that you believe it's going to help your customers. What are the tools and changes and next steps that you see for the company, given the fact that there's a different set of skills needed to sell artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime, first, I think it's a totally different skill set. Like it's not, logging into a server and, keeping it online. It's just it really is a completely different skill set that I think it needs to be nurtured. I don't know that anybody's an AI expert. I think it's too new. I think it's too new, and just the product development and the features that are being rolled out. And I'll just talk about Microsoft Copilot Studio. I mean, for $35 a month, you can create all of these different agents to do these different things, and you can train it. And I think that's always an ongoing thing. But I think that the most important component is you don't have to be technical. Like this is like you go build something in Azure or AWS, you have to be technical. You have to understand what a network switch is. You got to understand how to connect the server. Like that still needs technology. What we're seeing in building an agent is that's a CEO roundtable that really is tell me what your biggest problems are, and let's use AI to help solve those things. But as the CEO, you're telling it in a conversation how you want it to act. And I would say, okay, well, tell me how I would know this. Where do I get my knowledge from? Well, go look at our sales process. Go look at our sales operations process. Go look at
Do you have a trust of the CEO to be? You are the techie guy. You were always delivering the VMware and the servers. Do you think that the customers are ready to trust you with the business problems?
I do, because a lot of customers can see how important technology is to their business. I mean, the pandemic helped that, right? Like everybody had to go work remote at the time, and it was like, how do I go do that? I don't know how to do that. Well, we now gave them Teams, and we gave them, we moved all their email out to the cloud. We gave them OneDrive. We gave them a deeper way to collaborate. And there's where they saw the value of, their technology, right? The value of that we can give you a laptop and you can go work anywhere on the planet, and still stay connected. I think that was important. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Okay. 15 years ago, Aaron understood, and that's what I really like about my friend here. He understood the change that was happening on the market. I was still in my reseller kind of a mindset, thinking about how to close the next project. He started to think, and many others started to think about how to change the business model, how to change from the reseller to the MSP, because the reseller business was commoditizing the business model. Now you can hear that there are already MSPs that are thinking about the next generation problem, how to change again the organization, how to reshape it. I think you are leading edge, Aaron, and I thank you for all the time willing to share your wisdom and your ideas with me.
Very fun. I think the other reality too is my kids were I don't know, maybe 3 and 1 at the time, and I go I want to leave a legacy. I want this to have meaning, and if I was a VAR and I fizzled out, like what am I doing with my kids, right? And so now, after the conversion, and we're still working on it every day. Like I don't know that there's ever, I call it a journey, not there's no real end destination because you're always evolving. I mean, this whole new AI front, totally evolving, but it was important for me to leave a legacy. And I knew that I could do that converting to an organization that really added value to the people that consumed it.
Thank you so much for your time. It's great to see you here in Orlando. Where is the next time that we're going to see each other?
We're going to see each other on Teams in 2 weeks over video for sure. But I hope we see each other soon. Maybe.
You were talking something about coming to Poland or Germany.
Yeah, we're going to see this guy. Okay, I promised my wife we're going to Warsaw. We're going to meet. We're going to immerse ourselves in your world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.